Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is so nice to be able to sit down and film and make videos again for you guys. I was quite poorly last week and the week before with tonsillitis, so yeah, my voice is normally not as raspy as this. It's nearly there. I streamed last night and I think I streamed for too long because I started coughing. Anyway, and that makes me start coughing. Excuse me. So I shared this picture on Instagram. It was this one and another galaxy background that I did. I just got the new, it's not the new, it's new to me, an Inktense palette, and I was just more or less just playing around with it, and this is what I created. So I'm going to recreate this today because, like I said, I was requested a couple of times on Instagram. And I love doing galaxies and I love doing colouring boots, so I'll mix them together and, you know, it's all fun around for me. The rest of the picture is all Inktense pencils, and then I just need to go in and do a watercolour skin for her. But the picture that I'm going to do is quite a simple one. It wasn't this one, was it the next one? Or was it the one before? It was this one, because there's quite a lot of background area, and now what I did was use masking tape just to tape round the edges, just so I didn't get any, you know, overlap, and then it went onto the page behind, just to save the pages. But before we start doing that, I want to go through my Derwent Inktense palettes. Now I am aware that you can buy these in a 24 set instead of buying two separately, but I bought one just to test if I'd see if I'd like it, and then because I did, I went and purchased the second one. Now this one I did pay full price for. This is the #1 palette. Now I haven't got the swatches to hand, but these are the swatches of the colour, and they are quite true to this colour. That's what colours that they do turn out. And I've used these on watercolour paper and they're absolutely beautiful. So like I said, that sparked my interest, but I ended up getting the, I think this is the right one. Yeah, the Graphitint one, which is not my favourite out of the whole three, but it's just different. It's not that I don't like it, it's just different. Beautiful colours, and they're quite shiny as well because of the graphite in there. But the main palette and the star of the show, and I adore this one, is the #2 palette. If you're and ahhing, try the #2 palette first. These are stunning colours. It does come with a water brush as well. I mean, I've took the other water brush out of the other one, but I don't intend on using this one. I'll just keep it in there as a backup. But these are so beautiful and vibrant. But the only thing is, you might be thinking it's a little watercolour palette. It sort of is and it sort of isn't, because once these bad boys dry, they ain't going to move unless that you've put so much pigment on the page. Like the one that I've done, because I do use a lot of paint when I'm doing galaxies, if I put a little bit of water over the top, it would reactivate. And then if I put, let's say, a piece of tissue and pull that colour up, there still would be colour underneath because it's dyed the paper. It is ink, it is not watercolour. But I am aware that you can get some staining in watercolours, but nothing like this. So yeah, I want to do the same colours as I did last time. So we used a turquoise. I'm just using a little pipette here. I got a pack of about 50 of these, which I only needed one, but I've got backups now. So I used the turquoise, the fuchsia, which is my very, very favourite. I used violet and Payne's grey. So a couple of drops on each just to get them activated while I do the washi tape. So I will be able to bring you down now. Come on, Mr. Camera. Honestly, like I said, it feels so nice to be able to sit down and film again. It was like I was having withdrawals. Because I do really like filming videos. I don't necessarily like the editing part, I've got to be honest. I don't dislike it, but I don't really like it. And I don't like the waiting of uploading a video. But yeah, I do love creating content for you guys. So I think with this one, I'm going to go over the leaves a little bit there. So I'll make it quite a, not a thick border, but thicker than it was on the other page. And this is just normal washi tape. I think I got on a pack of a bazillion from Amazon. Really cheap, really cheap. And I found if you look on the Amazon warehouse deals, you can find washi tape on there even cheaper, because the packaging that they come in is broke. Who cares about the packaging? All you want is the washi tape, and you get it for like half price. So if you search it on Amazon and put warehouse deals, and then it'll bring you up to a different tab. Search in that tab what you're looking for, like washi tape or watercolour paint, or I don't know, whatever you want, dog treats, then it'll come up with cheaper items, because the packaging's usually broke. That's what's happened with me in the past. So let's get this all sorted. So I need my little clips, that's one thing I didn't get out, and a cloth. So I just got these little bulldog clips, one either side. Let's add a little bit more paper, just like that. Oh, I've got the feeling I'm going to sneeze. No. Shall I do the sides or the bottom? I can't remember which way around I did it. We'll do the sides today, just to keep the paper flat like that. I've got some nice clean water. And I was going through my stash of things the other day and I come across this. And it is the Perfection by Faber-Castell. It's like an eraser on that side, but this side is perfect for creating, still some paint left over in there, the speckle effect on the page like this. I mean, I've literally still got paint because I only used it last night. So let's see if these paints are now activated. I need to remember to take breaks because I feel like I'm coughing all the time. Anyway, I'm using 3 different brushes. I'll be keeping all 3 of these in my left hand for most of the time. Now usually I do a wet on wet. Now this is really good paper, but that's not the way that I did it last time, and I want to be true to what I did. Let's wet all these brushes and do it the way that I did it the other night. So let's bring you in even closer without the camera thinking it's a disco. Right, in with the fuchsia, and you'll see how pigmented these are. I just love them, and I'm going to have a good mess around with these different colours on proper good quality watercolour paper and see what I can create. In with the turquoise. I mean, you have to be a bit careful with the edges with this Inktense, because I mean if you go over the flower you're going to really struggle covering it up with pencil. So let's go around the edges. And the way that I did it, I'm working in like blocks, so I'll work on this portion first because I don't want it drying. I want it to still be wet so I can do my blending and whatever else. And I want to do whatever else, because I did pop clean water on as well, which I'll show you, and I'll show you the effect that that creates. So this is the violet shade. So back in with the fuchsia. And you just basically layering. Now I'm going to get so confused over which colour's which on the paintbrush. Just darken some of this up. And then with a 4th brush, I just want some clean water. Because I don't want any harsh lines, that's not what I want. But then if I just get clean water and then just dab it on like this, and then just leave that and it'll do its own thing, don't worry about it. Let's move down to this bit. So our fuchsia again. Being mindful of corners. Ideally I would leave this to dry naturally on its own, but for the sake of recording I probably will use my heat gun just to make the process a little bit quicker. And I want that turquoise again. And then with the clean water, let's move this round a little bit wherever we see fit. The bleach effect as well works beautifully with these. And it will dry ever so slightly lighter than what it looks now. But not much lighter. But just keep that in mind. And then with the purple, so we need a little bit more there. And then a clean brush. What I want to do is pop a little bit of that purple. I'm not adding any more to the brush, I'm just adding what's already there and just blending it out like that. And I do want a little bit more turquoise as well in that area. It seems like it's disappearing because of that purple. Add a little bit more. See, I'm like a mad woman. And just blend that. And then with the clean water, dab that on. It's really super effective. It's so easy to do. Right, we'll do this little area here before I forget to do it. And then with the purple, then finish off with the pink. That shouldn't need blending with the water that way. That needs loading back up. Purple. Turquoise. I just think as well, keeping it simple with just the 3 colours. I mean, you can add as many colours as you want, but just think it makes it a little bit more simple and easy to remember what to do. So my clean brush again, just move some of this around. And then the splatters of clean water, and then the very last section. So should that be, I'm wondering, I think that looks a bit weird, so that's going to be added, that little bit there, because that looked a bit strange, that to me. Just like that. Meddling. And then purple. The dogs next door are blessing us with their presents. Not too much longer, we don't have to listen to that. And then I want to fill the rest in with this turquoise colour, and then we'll do some mixing. So I'll finish with that brush for now. Add a little bit more purple. And I want a little bit more pink. Right, so with clean water, let's start moving this around a little bit. Right, and then dab your water on. So I'm going to dry this off camera, because I'm going to really take my time with this. If I just blast it with the heat gun, all the masking tape will start to peel away and I won't get that nice crisp edge that I'm looking for. So I will just take my time and dry this. So I'm happy with the amount that's dried now. I want to go in with a little bit of this Payne's grey in certain areas. I'll just pop the Payne's grey down, and then with a clean brush going around the edges just to give it that blended effect. Same thing, just random areas. I'm looking because some of these effects you might not be able to see on camera, but some of these effects are really nice and I want to keep them. Like these watermarks and stuff, I want to keep them. So you've just got to gauge yourself what it looks like once it's dry. Then add in my water. Maybe some here as well. Just a little bit. This corner. Just pull that around. See, so it feathers the edges and there's no line there. So let's crisp that line up there. Let's pull it out a little bit more. See, it just gives it a little bit extra something, and I want a little bit on this edge as well. My water, and go around the edges. Pull that colour out a little bit. So I'll use the heat gun again now. Just make sure my brushes are clean because I know what Inktense is like. I don't want to mix it with my watercolours. I will film this part of me just drying this. You just have to be so careful, especially this heat gun. It's so hot, mega hot. But if I've not got these clips on, the paper would start wanting to do its own thing. Just going over the areas, but not keeping it in one area for too long because I don't want to burn it. Now that I've added that dark Payne's grey, I think Payne's grey is slowly becoming one of my favourite colours. I know that it's like it is a grey, but depending on what brand that you buy it from, there's so many undertones and different colours mixed in. I just love it. But because I've added that Payne's grey, when we add these stars it'll be really effective. So I think that's okay for now. So I'm going to get just some scrap paper. I just want to protect this as best as I can. I mean, you don't have to do this part. I'm not going to put it down everywhere. I'm just going to protect it as much as I can. Sometimes I can be bothered doing this and other times I totally can't. So I use the Dr. Phil the PH Martin's Bleed Proof White, and all I do is I use the lid. So I'll get my little friend here, put a little bit of the product inside of the lid. I want to say with clean water, but my water's turned blue now, like a blue hue, but it'll be fine. So drops of the water, and just give it a good mix. Now I'm going to test beforehand, because I've done this before and it's just gone all over the page. I'm just going to test on my cloth, and that should be okay. So with the flicking motion of the finger, you're just pulling back quite fast to create them stars. Depending how thick it is or thin it is, you'll get different effects. But this is the one that I'm going for today. And if I go a little bit further back even, you'll get smaller stars. And I think that is probably enough. So clean my finger off because I'm going to have white everywhere. And this has just been, I just love it. Love it. Instead of having to worry about a brush. So let's take this off now. And let's give it another dry with the heat gone, and then we can take the masking tape off. The good thing with that bleed proof white is I've got a little bit on the hair. You just scratch it off and it comes straight off. Now let's see if the masking tape is held up. So I'll take the clips off. We've got a little bit there at the top, but that's not the end of the world. Let's take all this off and hope for the best. And there's a little bit there as well, that top corner. Oh, and a little bit there, and a little bit there. Oh, so it's not as perfect. It's not as perfect as the other one, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the outcome. And it's so easy to do. So easy to do. I will link the Inktense palette. This one I purchased, it was £16 at the time of me purchasing it. That's the only reason that I didn't want to spend over 20, I think they were like £25 originally. And then I saw it come down to 16 and I thought I'm going to try that. And I'm so happy that I did, because this is the effect. So let's have a look at this one compared to the original that I did. Being careful. So there's my original. And there's the one we did today. So today's is a little bit darker. There's more turquoises in the first one, but I'm happy about that because it's not identical. I don't want them same because it's in the same book. But yeah, that's how I created the Galaxy background with Inktense. It's a pocket set palette, and it's palette number 2. If you're going to purchase this, get palette number 2. It is lovely, loads nicer in my opinion than the number 1, and it comes with a white, and the Inktense white is beautiful. Beautiful, it really does pack a punch. But if you found this video helpful, please do leave me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new. I do try and upload at least once or twice a week when I'm not poorly. But anyway, I will see you in my next one. Bye!